Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm still trying to join using the e-learning platform because when I'm here, I cannot see who is the host, or there's no host when I join using this. For you, it's okay, but also this can log us off at any time if you don't have the host. So for me, the only way I can join is using the e-learning platform. So you can keep here, allow me some few minutes. The IT people are saying they have sorted it out, but still I can't join. So let me start from the other side, then we can start off. I hope that is clear. Colleagues, I hope that is clear. Okay, good morning, colleagues, once again. After long struggle, I managed to rejoin successfully. So I would request you give some few minutes to those who have not been able to join early. Probably they were facing the same issue, so that they can join and we start off officially. Meanwhile, as they join, there are resources which have been shared with you. I'm going to be putting some other resources now on the e-learning platform as we give few minutes to the rest of us, the rest of those who are not able to join to also join in. However, keep on and then we can start off after a few minutes. I'm going to be uploading certain things on the e-learning platform. Okay, good morning, ladies and gentlemen, once again. Please confirm to me if you can hear me clearly. Am I very audible? People no longer prefer to speak. You prefer only to use the chat room.
Good morning. We
Yes, we can hear you.
Shall we be having discussions together? Joy Asimwe, Kamwine Juliet, Albert, do you?
Hello, sir. It seems you're off because I can't hear anything, and yet I'm seeing the cursor is moving on the shared screen.
I'm very, very sorry. Thank you, actually, for that observation. I've been speaking on my own. Sorry about that. Yes, so I was saying, if we don't complete today, then we shall wrap it up tomorrow with the aspect of project planning and management. We are left with the 4 areas. The project resource management and how you can, this process of project resource mobilization and how you can manage the resources you have mobilized. 2, we have the human resources and then procurement, which we are going to look at that. Then we have the IT systems and programming in projects, then infrastructure and assets planning and management. Yes, so we are going to see how best we shall complete today or tomorrow. But if we are to extend this tomorrow, I will be able to actually show you a few areas that we have not covered, but they are equally important. So that when you're reading some resources, you're going to find them. For example, things to do with the log frame. That is, the log frame, the logic framework. Then things to do with the problem tree. Yes, all those, the problem tree, and then how you start from the problem tree, and then the objective tree, and then it translates into a log frame. We are going to do that, I think tomorrow, so that we see how they apply. They are not part of this, but they are equally important. You may be reading some documents or you may interface with that, and they are also very, very important. But also, as we proceed with monitoring and evaluation, we shall see where the log frame is so much applied. Okay? Yes. It is very, very important, especially when you're doing project resource mobilization, how the log frame comes into. So let's look at the project human resources management. We are starting with the procurement, then human resources management. These are 2 important things that support us in the work that we do, especially regarding whether it is a project work or not. Procurement and then the human resources management. Okay? These are very, very important. Someone is still asking for the link. I thought our link was shared earlier on and people always save this and so that they don't keep referring to it. Yeah, so I don't know. Some people don't keep this or don't take this seriously. It's very, very important. Actually, we are always required to allow you join this from the e-learning platform and not from the WhatsApp, but we always want to make life easy. Okay? Don't be surprised. Even after a month or 2, some people will still be requiring the link. We always use this one link for one reason, that we want our recordings to remain intact. But I think, please keep quiet. But I think when it comes to monitoring and evaluation, we are going to, I may be able to create another link because the emphasis is for you to always have the recording. Good. Okay, great. So, as we go through these two areas, I wanted to know, is there anyone here who is a human resource personnel or who has done human resource work, human resource or admin work? Or is there anybody who is a procurement person here? Is there anybody who is a human resource personnel or a procurement person here?
I studied procurement. I'm waiting for my graduation in November.
Okay. Thank you so much, Juanita. So you are the consultant of the day, okay? Okay, thank you. So when we talk about the procurement and then human resources management, these are two different aspects and I'm going to present them differently, okay? Yeah. So we shall look at when we study this, you should be able to define and also explain the concept and importance of procurement management, apply procurement management processes in planning, conducting, controlling, or closing procurements, evaluate procurement methods and their suitability for various project needs, then identify risk and ethical issues in procurement and propose mitigation measures. Now, procurement specialists or procurement personnel. The reason why we are studying this is the same reason why we studied aspects such as the risk management, aspects such as the conflict management. Why? Because as a professional, whether you have undergone through this training or not, you will be required to participate in the procurement process. Even when we come to HR, the human resources management, you will be required to do certain human resources aspect. What are some of those certain human resources aspect? Number one, you're going to be a line manager or you're going to be a supervisor. You're going to support your team in how best you can work with them, how you can recruit somebody, how you can bring them on board, how you can manage them or manage the work that they do. That is the main reason why we study this. Not because we are setting you to go and be an HR specialist. Okay, remember this is just a course unit in one of our modules. Okay. Now, when it comes to procurement, why do we study this? We are studying this because number one, either yourself or your department will be required to perform certain procurement aspects. That is number one. Number two, you will be required to evaluate bids or applications for consultancy work in an organization. Okay? Regardless of the position you hold, regardless of, the department where you are, you will be required to participate in this. That is why we study this. For me, as an M&E person or as a programs person, once they're reviewing bids, I also look at it and I tell whether someone is suitable to conduct this evaluation or this assignment for the organization or not. That is the main reason why we are doing this. Okay? So, ladies and gentlemen, I request that we move on as we continue with this particular aspect within project planning and management Okay, I welcome you to the uh, part of procurement management. When we talk about procurement management, we are looking at key areas which involves the processes required to purchase, but not only purchasing or acquire products, services needed from outside the procurement, from outside the procurement of the project team to perform work. So procurement is either purchasing certain items or products or even the services. By services, we mean uh, pertaining to any aspect within the work that we are doing. Okay, either consultants, either people who come on for short-term assignments, either people come as volunteers, either people who come as you know, any form of service providers. So management involves how you bring them, how you work with them, and then how they exit. Okay. We normally, this is the main reason why we are studying this. Okay. Julius, you're asking, how do we get the notes? Julius, when did you join? When did you join us?
I joined this semester, May. All the lectures. Are you asking about the lectures?
Julius, if you can hear me, when did you become part of us?
The lectures or the intake? Salah?
In case you're speaking, you're on mute and I can't hear you.
Can you
The
hear
one
me
who is
now?
asking, how do we get the notes? Not so.
Yes, sir.
Not so. When you join
Yes,
this?
sir.
Yes, I can hear you.
You can hear me now? Maybe we first proceed, sir, because it seems you can't hear me.
I'd broken off or had gone off, so I don't know. I wanted to ask, Julius, when did you join us? And because we took people out to access the e-learning platform, how you can access the notes, how you can get all the resources that you're supposed to get for the course. So by you asking, that simply means that either you have not been attending or you have been attending but not paying attention to that. Which of the two? Or you have forgotten?
I've forgotten, but I've been attending.
Mm.
Yeah, I tried searching in all those what processes, but I couldn't get them. I will just try again, maybe after the lecture.
Yeah, I would request that you can try again after the lecture. But also in case you cannot access it still, I will connect you to either Francis or connect you to either Shiba or Abba. One of them can take you through this so that it doesn't come direct from me since I've done this severally. Okay. So I'm going to, you can reach out to Francis. He's here in the group. He is going, everyone's contact, you can get it in the group, even their email, so that you can access the notes at any time from the
Okay,
e-learning platform. I'm going to request, I hope even Caro can hear me. I'm going to request that kindly download these notes and have them, because the moment the course closes, or the moment we finish, normally what they do, they archive all these or they remove them and you cannot be able to access them. Okay? So they normally archive and then you cannot be in a position to access all of them. Yeah. So that is normally what happens. I kindly request Francis or Albert, you will take them through and now to put everyone at a position to have all the resources or all the information. Yeah, but it's not hard to access them. It's very, very easy. From the e-learning platform, you already have the Tamu email, use that and then access. Very, very quick and very, very easy. Okay, so we were saying procurement management involves the processes required to purchase or acquire products, services needed from outside the project team to perform a work involved. Now, there's a reason why we are bolded outside the project team. As we move on, we are going to see when you bring in people within the project team, when you bring in relatives, when you bring in friends, how do we call that? We are going to look at this, okay? Yeah. So it also ensures that goods and services are obtained at the right quality, the right quantity, the right cost, and then the time to achieve the project objectives. Why do we actually have procurement management? It ensures availability of required inputs for project execution. That is right from the way we have seen the definition, because you're purchasing the goods or the inputs which are required, but also you are hiring for the services of a consultant, a volunteer, a specialist, etc., to be able to support you in the work that you do. It also helps to control cost and optimize resources. Why does it control the cost and then optimize resources? We shall look at it that when it comes to procurement management, and somebody who is a specialist, like Joanita, normally what is required is for if you would like some services to do for you, to supply for you, let me say office shares, okay? You're not going to go to only one supplier and say, please supply to me office shares. You'll get quotations from at least three. You compare the price, three different quotations, or quotations from three different suppliers of office shares. Then you will tell them, please give us a quotation. Within the quotation, we want to see the cost. Within the quotation, we want to see the different choices that you have. We want to see even their pictures. Some people go as far as even visiting the premises of these suppliers. What they have said they have in the store, do they really have it? We can go and check it out. So by comparing the various costs from the different suppliers, you're able to come up with the best cost that fits what you have budgeted for. And in so doing, you're controlling the cost and then optimizing the resources. Okay. Another thing is that it minimizes risk related to supplier performance. As we move on, we are going to see that normally what is required is, yes, the organization or the project, you need this type of resources. For example, you may need computers to give to your staff to start doing the project work. You have already a list of pre-qualified service providers. I'm going to explain that, what it means by being pre-qualified service providers. After that, what you're going to do is that you're going to call one of the suppliers and say, oh, either one or two or three, that please send us your quotation for 10 computers for our staff. And in so doing, they will supply, then you pay them later when the staff are already using them. Are you seeing? It can be immediate payment or it can be a payment after a while when they're already using the computers. And once the computers are not functioning, you call the same supplier to come and either repair or to change for you into something that is really working very, very well. You can see that all this is to minimize the risk related to supplier performance, because once you ask them supply, then we pay you later. In one way, you're telling them that please give us these goods and give us these goods, then we shall be in a position to pay you after some time. Okay? When already the assets are helping us. 4, promotes transparency and accountability because everything is done in a very, very transparent way. When you get quotations from 3 or 4 or 5 people, you're going to choose also give the reasons for that. I will take you through how we do for an evaluation or for consultants. You will apply the same knowledge in any other aspect where you may be involved in the procurement management. Encourages fair competition and supplier diversity. Very, very good. By a number of suppliers competing for as mean a call for a supplier or a call for whatever that is needed by an organization, a number of them will be competing, okay? But also in this case is required, or it's the ethical standard is required, is that you should be fair, you should be very professional as you do this, okay? You don't simply say, I'm going to bring somebody I know to do for me this work, okay? We shall look at that when it comes to how to get a supplier on board. Okay, in procurement, there are key concepts that we actually look at. Number 1, we have the buyer, the organization acquiring goods and services, who is the seller, the provider or contractor, or the service provider in this case, okay? When we talk about a contract, this is, you all know very well, a contract is a legal agreement that binds the buyer and the seller based on the terms of delivery, the cost, the quality, the measurements, and so on and so forth. We also have what is called a procurement plan, okay? A procurement plan is a document in the docket of a procurement assistant or a procurement officer or a procurement specialist, depending on the title that person holds in the organization. This is a document that is drafted in order to guide, okay? In order to guide the operationalization of procurement in an organization. Some people have the procurement guide within what is called the finance manual or the human resource manual, okay? However, some organizations go and break it down to have a separate comprehensive procurement plan for an organization. In the same way, when you enter or when you join an organization, okay, as a staff, the first question you're supposed to have is that, do we have a procurement plan? That is, if you're in procurement. If you're in a HR specialist or HR personnel, the first question when you join is, do we have a HR manual or a HR plan in place? If you are an M&E person, the first question should be, do we have an M&E plan or an M&E manual for this project or for this organization? You see that? If it is not there, that should be your number 1 delivery amidst all other deliveries, okay? If it is not there, then that is the first one that you're supposed to have. If you're a project officer, a project coordinator, or a manager, you have joined an organization, the first question should be, do we have an implementation plan, a comprehensive implementation plan or programs manual for this organization? Why I'm telling you this is that even the owners of the organization have not undergone through this kind of training that you're going through. So most of them do not have. Or some of them will respond to you and tell you, hey, the reason why we have hired you is because we don't have a procurement plan. We don't have an M&E plan. Therefore, you should help us, and then you avail it. And once they tell you that, as somebody who has gone through this kind of training, you don't say, I don't know, or I cannot do it, or I don't know how to do it. Please always remove the I don't know from your vocabulary or a list of vocabularies. Okay? Therefore, you should, challenge yourself, come back and start thinking, how do I get this in place? Read documents, okay? Read documents. You should know what are the components. If not, please reach out to certain people. We therefore do a lot of networking nowadays, okay? We do a lot of networking. This networking is to guide you in order to support you in the kind of role that you may do, or in order for you to not to fail to perform. So it's important for you to be doing networking. And then you see within your colleagues, how do you get this? Oh, you reach out to people. Some people, especially directors, especially managers, who cannot do certain things. You know what they do? They have the money, okay? They reach out to somebody and say, man, do for me a procurement plan. Then I'm going to facilitate you for your services. You're not doing a wrong thing. If you don't know, let somebody guide you, let someone support you, okay? Even me in my early days, there are certain things I did not know how to do. For example, I wanted to upgrade my skills in data analysis beyond what I learned in school, using Stata, using Python, using R programming, using C plus or C++. These are softwares within the kind of work that I do, okay? So I get some little money, 100 or beyond. I reach out to somebody, say, please, if you know this, please help me, train me for a day. The rest of the things I will learn on my own. In order to make my work better. Okay. So I wanted to tell you about that, a procurement plan, or a plan, even if you're an IT person. Okay. The first question you should ask yourself, do I have an IT plan for this organization? You see that? So by IT plan, this details how you're going to be using emails, what kind of how you're going to be managing your computers, when do they buy computers, how do you take care of them, how do you manage them, all this is a very, very comprehensive document, which is actually required for the kind of work that you do. And of course, in monitoring and evaluation, we also have an M&E plan, or a meal plan. We always call it a meal plan, okay? By meal, we are meaning monitoring, evaluation, accountability, and learning. Okay, so I wanted to show you something related to that. I don't know if I have a procurement plan here. I'm also going to show it to you so that you can be able to see how that actually looks like. The issue is, or the reason is to be able to, to make sure that you get to know how these documents actually support. I think I can be able to get a procurement plan, or, yeah. So, okay, let me see where I can get this. Okay, the meal capacity building, the meal support, meal handbook. Okay, so you can call it the handbook, you can call it a strategy, you can call it a plan, you can call it a guiding document, and so on and so forth. Okay, so this was one of the key deliverables when I joined the organization that I support. Okay, the meal. So you can see a strategy on monitoring, evaluation, accountability, and learning for this organization that I support, that is CIOTA. Okay, the acronym. This is how it looks like. The components are all here. We have chapter 1 and all the details are here. Part 2, we have how you're going to be doing the planning. Okay, you can see this is how you're going to be doing the planning and all the guides on that. You can see the planning steps. In part 3 or chapter 3, how you're going to be doing monitoring. Okay, the routine monitoring, the types of monitoring that will happen. Okay, the what you're going to be doing at the field level, the method you're going to use, how you're going to be doing monitoring for partner implemented projects. This is like a consortium. The data sources, the data challenges, data quality assurance. That is about monitoring. Then what about evaluations? What are the types of what is evaluation? The questions or the evaluation questions, the approaches, the phases. Okay, the evaluation plan, the types of evaluations, monitoring and evaluation annual implementation work plan. You can see all these. Okay, then the tools and frameworks. I told you when they talk about tools, these are like the questionnaires and other things that support you to do your work. Okay, the tools, the frameworks, the theory of change, the logical framework, the PMP, performance monitoring plan. How you're going to be managing the data. You can see all this, the data privacy, the quality, the storage, reporting, collection, and so on and so forth. Next, reporting, how you're going to be doing reporting, and then the dissemination of results. Okay? All those. The capacity building, how you're going to be doing capacity building for meal, and other key aspects, and so on. Things to do with the vulnerable groups, things to do with the cross-cutting issues, the bias, and so on and so forth. So, by looking at this is to tell you that the plan that you have, the document you have to guide your to guide the organization within your docket should be very, very comprehensive. This is just what I have tried to explain. This document is 60 pages, okay? This is the M&E plan. So every time somebody is trying to do an M&E aspect, as the M&E lead, you always ask a question that, is this within our plan? Does this follow our manual or our strategy or our handbook or our plan? You see that? So this is what normally happens, okay, within the organization. And this is an M&E plan and so on and so forth. This one I developed it single-handedly. The internal team approved it. Therefore, we shared it with some other funding bodies, and they have actually appreciated it, the work that is inside. Okay. Yeah. So I just wanted to show you how this looks like. Let me try to see if I can also have other plans. I'm sorry I've diverted, but this is equally important. Let me see if at all we have a procurement plan or a procurement manual, okay? Procurement policy. This one I think is encrypted, you can see. This one looks like for you to have it, must have a password, which I don't have. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So let me see what this is. This is just a simple plan. I think, okay, this is a procurement plan. How the purchase of goods and of goods will be happening and what period. Okay. This is a procurement work plan. Okay. Under which department or under which budget line, you can see we have this, the budget line or the department. You can see under admin, these are the things they have to procure and their cost, the source of funding, the type of procurement, the description. You can see that the unit of measure, the quantity, frequency, estimated what? Costs. After that, we have the procurement method you're going to use. And then a lot of all this, including who is responsible for that, the dates required, and then the status. You can see this is a procurement work plan, which is actually also very, very important for you. Okay. So when they tell you do for us a procurement work plan, you're supposed to map annual procurement work plan. You're supposed to map out all the items which are supposed to be procured in an organization for that particular year. Okay. You don't say, I cannot do that, or I don't know what other people in IT will need. What you do, you are the one in charge of this document. The most important thing is reach out to the team, different heads of department, and then say, please, hey, I'm working on a consolidated procurement plan, either for the organization or for a project. Please list out everything you'd want to procure, when you want to procure them, how much, what is the budget for it. You see, that is what happens. So I've showed you the one for the administration. Then when we go to human resources or the HR, okay, we have the staff ID cards and business cards, the staff medical insurance, first aid kits, fire extinguishers, okay. So all these are under the docket of the human resource personnel or manager, even if you're an officer or a coordinator. Okay. How are you going to, the costs are here. And then we also have, this is the cash available or the planned budget. And this is what the market cost will be. We are going to look at this RFQ, the request for proposals, then RFT or request for quotations. We are going to look at all those, okay? When you go to ICT, okay, or IT, subscription for licenses and antiviruses, is that repairs and maintenance is also that, and the rest of other details. What about communications department, the comms team, corporate charts, wall calendars, desk calendars, pull-up banners, diary, books, okay? So within this procurement plan, work plan, you detail each and everything, okay? And then you send this document to a procurement person. 2, we also have a programs team producing and printing of the annual report, training venue and meals, consultants, safeguarding materials, venue certificates, and so on, fixed assets, meals and refreshments, for what kind of activities, okay? The flip charts, pens, books, venue. Now, the procurement teams have a lot of things. Eh? The implementers, you can see. They have really a long list, okay? And then, so within the organization, initially, before I joined, this programs team, the M&E team or the M&E department was within the programs department. But now it has been broken down. Okay. Yeah. So this is a procurement work plan, which I think in all good faith, I think I need to also save this for you. And so that you can have it. So when they tell you that, you know what, when they say, Juliet, you're going to do for us a procurement work plan. I told you remove the I don't know from your vocabulary. This is add blah 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 blah. This is okay. Let me first see what is here. Okay. Yeah, more or less like the same. Major objectives, the procurement work plan, attachment C. Okay. Depending. What are the procurement, which month? Yeah, this was how also that organization did theirs. There's a document that I'm trying to look for. Allow me look for this document. Okay. Uh, Let me see the RDU, addressless development. Okay, this is one. If I don't get it, then I'll get it, I think, from my hard drive. Okay. Yeah, okay. I think it's here. No, it is in my hard drive. It's a folder which has some of those details. Yeah, so I wanted to show you that how simply a procurement. I've showed you a procurement plan. Okay. Actually, what I've showed you the procurement work plan or the plan, which is a roadmap of what, when, and how the procurement is going to happen. Another key concept we have tendering or bidding, which is the competitive process used to select suppliers. Then we have a procurement committee, those who review, evaluate, and then approve bids. When you talk about bids are just like applications, okay? However, an application for a job, normally you send as your application letter or the cover letter or the motivation letter. It also has your documents, okay? I mean, it has your CV and then has your documents. When it comes to the bids, it has that procurement or the motivation letter. It also has the documents. In this case, they are not academic documents. They are the license to operate or the operation license. We have other documents or certificates from the kind of work that you did in the past, okay? And so on and so forth. So these are key documents which are required during the bidding process. So every time you hear about tendering or bidding, it is just a competitive process used to select suppliers. The same way a job application is done and the way the overall process is managed. So in the procurement committee, like I said earlier on, anyone fits there. If you're an M&E person, they will call you when they're doing, when they're evaluating bids within the docket of M&E. When you're a finance person, they will call you when they're evaluating bids within the docket of a finance person. Okay? When they want IT materials, you're an IT person, you fit there. When they want some human resources to come and off for a short time, you're an you're a human resource personnel, you fit there. That is the main reason why we are studying this, because you fit to be within the procurement committee. Okay. We have also the procurement management processes. Okay. There are different stages within the procurement management process. We have stage one is you come up with the procurement management plan or the procurement work plan. Remember the same document, the document that I've showed to you. Okay, that is the procurement work plan. So you start it up right from there. That is number one. Okay, and what does it entail? What is the description of that document that I showed you, which is the procurement management plan? It is to identify project needs or organization needs and determine what should be procured either externally or internally. What are the outputs? The plan itself, the criteria for selection, then the contract types. Number two, once you have that plan, the next process is conduct the procurement. What is entailed within the actual procurement procurement. You advertise. After advertising, you receive bids. After receiving bids, you evaluate them, and then you get the most successful or the successful supplier. You award them with a contract, okay, for which they will sign the contract. You sign and they also sign. That becomes a binding document. So whatever they have supplied to you, it must be following whatever has been detailed in that particular document, okay, which is the contract. After conducting the process, you control procurement. When you're controlling the procurement, this means you manage supplier relationships, okay? You monitor contract performance and then make the payments, okay? Now, here we have the reports, the performance reports, the change requests, updates, and etc. Okay. Then we have the closing the procurement. This means you confirm completion of the work done or the services rendered or the goods supplied. You finalize all documents and then you release obligations. Okay, that is closing the procurement. Which is the close the contracts and then lessons learned. However, there's one which is very, very important. That is have a procurement personnel. Okay, any organization, for example, the procurement plan that I've showed you, that is a very, very comprehensive work, very, very hectic work, which requires the work of a procurement person. Okay, very, very key there. There must be a procurement assistant, there must be a procurement coordinator, or an officer, or and so on and so forth. For example, in a government structure in Uganda, you must have the procurement lead, okay? That is the procurement lead, which either director in charge of procurement, okay? Then you have a procurement manager, then you have a procurement officer, then you have a procurement senior officer. Some people even have senior manager, okay? After senior officer, you have, sorry, I think I have jumbled them. You have a director or a lead in charge of procurement. After that, you have the senior manager. You have a manager. You have a senior coordinator. You have a coordinator. You have a senior officer. You have officer. Okay. Then you have assistant. Then you have volunteers and interns. That is the systematic or the logical government structure within each department in an organization. Even when you go to the human resources, it's the same thing, okay? The director in charge of that, after director, senior manager, manager, senior coordinator, coordinator, senior officer, officer, then you have HR assistants, volunteers, and interns, okay? Now, within also procurement, it's very, very vital to have that staff in the organization to support you. So the next time you're budgeting for a project or you're budgeting for the work, please, and when it comes to the human resource, okay, you don't forget to budget for a procurement staff, okay? Depending on how big or how small the project is, you can always have a procurement assistant or officer or coordinator or manager, okay? But of course, in areas such as procurement, even when you bring somebody who is going to learn on the job, there's no problem. But you need to have a very good structure for supervision of that particular person to support you do the work that has to be done. Good. Okay. What is the next part? Okay. So just a second. Please give me a second. Only 30 seconds. Okay, yeah, I'm back. So I was saying, when you're doing a comprehensive budget of the staffing needs in the organization, don't forget to have a procurement personnel, okay? There are a lot of issues when you involve every staff to do procurement. Some people want to inflate the prices. Some people want to bring in their friends, relatives, and colleagues and then they will tell them, you know what to do? We have 15 million budgeted for this. You put 15, okay? Even if it is 10 million, put 15, the other 5 million is ours. You find they're using the office for personal gains. That is why organizations go as far as, uh, getting a procurement person. Some people, for example, if the organization is procuring food items, beans, maize, and so forth, or corn, instead of procuring, they will actually be the supplier to the organization. There's a lot of dilemma when you allow staff to do procurement themselves. That is why organizations go as far as hiring a staff to do that, to manage that. But also remember from our definition, it is said, uh, you know, getting services, goods and services from people who are outside the project team or outside the organization. Okay, good. What methods do we have? First of all, before I can proceed, is there any question up to this point? I've spoken a lot. Is there any question up to this point so that people can be able to ask any question up to this point? Is everything okay? Is there no one who is complaining? I may be cruising when someone is actually complaining about the speed. Are we all okay, colleagues? Are we not complaining? I'm giving you time to voice out anything or any question that you may have. Okay. Okay, if everything is okay, let me proceed, but feel free to alert me or if you have any question as we proceed with this. We have the procurement methods. We have open tendering. This is where organizations publicly invites, an organization publicly invites all qualified bidders. I'm going to give you an example of UN, okay? UN can put in the newspaper or can send out a document and circulate, and people circulate it, that there will be an open tendering or an open bidding, okay? So please, this is going to be done next month, this particular date, this particular place, from this time to this time. You find there a lot of items. You find vehicles, you find motorcycles, you find office stuff or items, and a lot of things. So you go there with your money, okay? And the open tendering is where they said, okay, at this point, we are bidding for lot number 2, item 1. Lot 2, item 1, we have cars, okay? We have 2 Land Cruiser cars, and we are selling them all together. You don't bid one. Whoever wants to take, you take both of them. So write your bids, put in an envelope, or write in a paper, or write in a sticky note, and then you bring. Everyone is there. So someone writes, with these 2 cars, I'm taking them at 50 million. Someone also writes in a paper. You write your name and then the amount, okay? Let me say Francis, sir, is taking is bidding for 50 million for the 2 cars. Another person writes, Juliet Kamwine is bidding, let me say, 100 million. Okay. Another Arthur Kagwisaje is probably bidding for 1 million. I mean, 15 million 100,000. Another one, let me say Catherine Achiro bids for 500 million. You see that? At the end of the day, they will open all of them at once. Number one, they will open document for document. Francis has placed 50 million here. So, and you find somebody is taking notes on their end. All of you are standing, has placed this amount of money. However, Catherine Ashiro, as you can see her documents here, she has bidded for 500 million for the 2 cars. And we are here to declare that Catherine Ashiro is the highest bidder for lot number 2, item 1, the 2 cars. Catherine, the account numbers are here. Please go and pay now. We have given you 2 days to clear, or we have given you only today to clear. Then you can take the items away from our premises within 5 working days. That is what happens within open tendering. Very, very easy. Okay. Sometimes you find that you're getting items very, very cheaply. Okay. But remember also the other people who are competing for the same. If it is within the organization, sometimes they make it even easier. They say, we have motorcycles we are selling, but this time we are only restricting the purchase to be within M&E team. So M&E team come and compete for this. So that is for an organization that wants you to grow. Okay. That is one part, open tendering. 2, restricted tendering. We are saying invitation sent to pre-qualified suppliers. But also, when we talk about open tendering, we have this one whereby they just have the documents, they just have the procurement process, send it out or circulate it out. Anyone who qualifies can apply. And once that happens, then you review the bids and so on and so forth. Then you get, that is also still under open tendering or open bidding. It's quite simple. When we talk about restricted here, you're sending to pre-qualified service providers. What do we mean by pre-qualified service providers? You might have heard about an organization telling you that, you know what, or you might have read from the newspaper where they have said call for pre-qualification. Has anyone ever seen that in a newspaper or in any document where they have written call for pre-qualification? Have you ever seen that? Colleagues, has anyone ever seen that in a newspaper
Yes,
or anywhere where
please.
they have written call for pre-qualification? Okay, I want to
Yes, sir.
explain that. Good. When they say call for pre-qualification, what do they want? They want to get suppliers. Let me even be speaking when I'm getting one of the documents here, and then I speak with the information. Okay. Once they do that, they first of all they have a lot of categories. Okay. Pre-qualification. Okay. This one here, we participated in evaluating bids. I mean, for pre-qualification. Okay. So, let me start pre-qualification. We go. Okay. Just a second. I want to speak when with an informed point of view. I wanted to get the advert itself. Wanted to get the advert. These are organizations which have been evaluated, but I want to get the advert for pre-qualification. Advert pre-qualification. Okay. When we talk about this is your Pre-qualification, service supplier, pre-qualification, profile, presentation. I think I don't have the advert here, but we did one whereby in this case, we were pre-qualifying service providers, okay? So when we are pre-qualifying service providers, what happened was the organization comes up with a document. The document tells you what category do you need, or category 1, you have maybe those who are in construction. Category 2, probably you need people who are supplying maybe food items. Category 3, research. Category 4, you have those who are doing who can render services for fumigation. Category 5, maybe engineers for welding and so on and so forth. That is category 5. Category 6, probably you need somebody or some organizations that can supply you cars and so on and so forth. That is category 6. Category 7, you need people who will supply for you furniture and so on. I wanted to get that document online, but I think I may not get it for now. I'm going to get it later and then I share with you. Now, in this case, then the organization tells you whoever wants to be pre-qualified or whoever wants to be in their document, so that under each category, for example, if you have 5 people who have applied to be in the category of supplying IT materials like computers, flash disk, and so on, and the tablet. Now they will review and then evaluate your bids. How does the process look like? This is the process, okay? They assess them. This is the form, okay? The form as let me give an example of this. The form as, let me say, the name of the organization doing that, the name of the supplier whom you have evaluated, the date, okay? This is the category. This is the category I was talking about. Provision of audit, accountancy, and assurance service. And then I'm the one who did this evaluation. What is the criteria? The legal and statutory compliance. What is the description? The maximum score should be this. Then what score did I award? I awarded 25 over 25. What was the reason? The company is legally registered by URSB. It also has a valid certificate of incorporation, the trade license certificate, certificate of registration, the tax clearance certificate, and then the power of attorney. That is what qualified them to get what? That score. 2, the criteria number 2, we have the organization experience, okay? And then we have said, what is the description? What do we need? The years of experience and the years of operation and relevant experience, the CV, that is submitted documents, and a total of 15. I've given them 15. How? The provision of service under this category. It has 9 offices across East Africa. It has provided a list of 20 fully completed assignments since 2013 and a list of 17 ongoing assignments. You can see that. So the comments must be backing up the marks you have given. The financial capacity, good. The technical capacity is another criteria. Okay. So I've given it 30 over 30. What was the comment? The company attached a structured team composition of 22 staff with academic qualifications. The company has provided a list of a few equipments they have office space, and softwares they use. You can see that. What about the past performance? 10 over 10. And I said the company has provided evidence of 9 references from previous clients attached and recommendation letters. You can see that. What is now the final recommendation and the final score? 100 over 100. And then the recommendation here, is it pre-qualified or not pre-qualified? It is a yes. And based on what? And I said, basing on the fact that I had proof of all the required documents as per CIOTA's criteria, the company should be pre-qualified. So they're using my notes, the last one here, for pre-qualification. So you find that I have done this BDO East Africa. Another person has done another company. Another one has done in Young. Another one has done maybe what are the accountancy firms in Uganda? Maybe KPMG, okay? And now there are those which are qualified. You have them a list that under category, which is this accountancy. What which ones are the companies which are qualified as per our categories? When if there are 10 and you want all of them, you will list them there. Uh, Sorry, I dropped off. So what I was telling you is that when these companies are applying to be pre-qualified, you charge them, okay? For our case, as Toyota, we charge them each company 100,000. By the way, that is one of the ways in which organizations get money, okay? Each person you come to submit your bids after paying 100,000 shillings in the company account. When you're coming to submit, you come with the receipt, and the procurement officer registers you in the book as this company has submitted documents and have paid 100,000. It's here. Then you have your list. You'll be giving them business anytime that they need. Anytime that they need arises in the organization. Okay. Remember, if I can also show you the very final list that I have for pre-qualification. I hope I still have it. Hope we still have it. Pre-qualification. Such documents, pre-qualification. I want to have you to have a final list to see how it looks like. This is now the one that the organization uses as a list of pre-qualified service providers. Okay. Colleagues, can you hear me? I think my network is on and off.
You are getting.
Okay. All these things, I'm going to share them with you. That is the beauty of being at term, okay? Okay, so I did this summary. Number one here, overall applications received and assessed, there were 132. Somebody may want to know how much money did we get, okay? 132 times 100,000. So the organization got some good money there. You can see, around 13 million, okay, from pre-qualification only, okay? And then after the assessment here, we have those eligible for pre-qualification under category 1, there are 59. Under category 2, there are 34. Category 3, there are only 4. In total, 96. Those who are not eligible but assessed are not eligible for pre-qualification. How many do we have? We have, no, those where the application has not been received under category 1, we did not receive application in 5 areas here. Under category 2 in 8 areas, under category 3 in 3 areas. In total, 16 areas never had applications received. And then those who never met the criteria, in total there were 19, okay? Yeah, so basically, that's how I did the summary for the procurement person I supported. Then in total, there were all these categories. You can see category number, then the name, number of eligible companies, and general officer stationery. So there are 7. Computer hardware 6. This one had only 1. Office equipment, printers, blah blah blah. Okay, and so on and so forth. So these are the people who actually reviewed them or who assessed them, and end with the comments on them. Okay. Yeah, so this is normally what happens even under category 2, under category 3, list of pre-qualified. So now, these are this list of not pre-qualified. These are the people who are not pre-qualified. You need to also have them with reasons. I told you, when you're knocking someone out, have reasons, okay? And here, what are we saying as the reason for the first company? We are saying, what are the reasons for this? The company has the trading license which expired in 2022 and no evidence of renewal at the time of their application. Okay. This one said no trade license and the company has less than 3 years in operation. You can see very valid reasons. So this is a list of pre-qualification. Qualification is normally done in the organization. Okay. Yeah, so I've talked a lot about pre-qualification because I wanted people to understand them, what pre-qualification means, and you find then your quotation to those who are pre-qualified. Okay, your invitation to those who are pre-qualified, and then they will be able to apply. We have what is called RFQ, the request for quotation, which is used for small purchases. Then the request for proposal, RFP, used for complex services. We have direct procurement. This is what we call the sole source. This is where you know somebody called Johnson or Wanda Komagum, who is very good in research, whom you know is going to do for you the work with no stress, whom you know is very professional, whom you know is going to do render the services with with even minimum supervision. You write an email to management, and then you request for a sole source or the direct procurement. Okay, even data collectors, we normally get them mostly on this kind of arrangement. Okay, so where we are saying this is where single supplier used due to urgency or uniqueness or level of experience required. Okay, it is allowed, by the way. Okay, even if it's your relative and you have communicated well, you can request for a direct procurement to happen. Then you bring your brother, you state it clearly. You open it, say, my brother can be able to do this. He has done this in a number of companies. The evidence is this, and that. Okay? Then you bring the person as in form of direct procurement. What are some of the risks in procurement? Ladies and gentlemen, you'll allow me to move faster in this. Risk number one, we have delays in procurement. How do you mitigate it? Clear contract terms, poor quality supply, need to proper contract disputes, practices, okay? Registering and audits, and then situation or inflation, okay? Some companies normally supply to supply for them good. Sorry, the network dropped off. Network is unstable here. Yeah, so you find when the currency has fluctuated and yet you already agreed on the price, you can always pay that same amount, or you renegotiate in order to cater for the delay in the payment or the currency fluctuation. So these are the different risks. However, the corruption and unethical practices is what I talked about. And of course, at Utamu, we always emphasize this a lot, that please do not be an agent of corruption, do not be an agent of embezzlement or any form of unethical practices in your workplace. Okay? Always carry the brand name of the institution and also your own brand name or your own name. What are the ethical issues? Transparency and fairness in selection, avoiding conflict of interest, confidentiality of bids, compliance with the legal and institutional procurement policies. Policy or guidelines or workbook or handbook or strategy, okay? The same thing. So, yeah. So that has been about procurement. I don't know if there's any question before we can jump to. Okay, let me come and chase it, okay? Good. Okay. You go and chase it away, okay? Okay. Yeah, so Joanita, as a specialist in this, did you say HR or procurement?
It was
Joanita, did you
Pauline.
say? Okay. Yes.
It was Pauline. Procurement.
Okay. So based on what we have covered, is there anything small you can add? As a specialist, you may have something small to add.
Basically, you said it all.
Okay. So, colleagues, is there any question before I can jump to another yet important part? That is now the human resource management, and we shall wrap it up with that. Okay, if there's any question, if there's no question, I guess I can move and look at the project. Sorry, somebody had contacted me. I'm hotspotting using my phone. So I was telling you, when we are studying about the human resources management, the resources management, it also entails the human resources management. And I told you that this is guiding you how best you can work with the people, how best you can hire the best staff possible, and how best you can manage them within the organization. This is basically what we are looking at if we go through this project, resources management. And specific, we are going to be to the human resources. Okay? So when we talk about the HRM, the human resources management, some people call it HR, okay? It involves the processes required to organize, manage, and then lead the project team, okay? So human resources management is all about how best you acquire the best team, the best personnel to work in the organization, how you're going to organize them, or how you're going to manage them, and then to perform the work that they're able to do. That is as simple as that. When we talk about the human resources management. So the focus is on acquiring the right people, developing their skills, and then managing them to achieve the project success. That is basically what human resources is all about. Have the right people, but also develop their skills. The right people may not be having the best skills that you require, okay? But you develop them along the process, okay? Which is very, very important. Okay. Sorry, just a second. Just give me just a second. My screen is not moving. Okay. Just a second. Just a second. Okay, so I think we can now proceed. Okay. Okay, so I was saying, human resources is all about getting the right people within your team and how best you're going to be to align them and you're going to be working with them. So, okay, what are the objectives of human resource management in projects? Ensure the project has the right number of skilled personnel, build effective teams and maintain motivation, enhance collaboration and communication, manage performance, and then resolve what? Conflicts, promote leadership and accountability. What are the importances? People are the key resource in any project, determines quality, efficiency, and success of the project outcomes, reduces turnover and boosts team morale, then enhances coordination across diverse teams. I'm going to move a little bit faster because this is a little bit self-explanatory. What are the processes of the human resource? Always, like I told you, always, what starts number one is have the plan to do so, okay? Have the plan to do whatever you want to do. In monitoring and evaluation, apart from having the strategy, another thing normally I do is a roadmap. I'm going to show you that later on. A roadmap for whatever that you want to do, okay? You remember the kind of procurement that the procurement plan that we have something similar for that, but also have a whole strategy to guide your procurement in the organization. After that, acquire the team or hire them, develop their skills, okay? Then you manage them and motivate them to be able to work. That is just the processes involved. Like I told you, also, like procurement is in the docket of a procurement personnel, also HR is in the docket of human resource personnel. We normally have the human resource manager or the human resource and admin manager in that case, or officer, or coordinator, or director in that particular case. Okay. The tools and techniques of organizational charts and role description show reporting lines and responsibility. There is no organization you go to and you don't have a reporting line. That is normally the number one red flag, okay? You have joined the organization, they don't tell you whom you are going to be reporting to, or there may not be somebody reporting to you, especially at the starting levels, or if you are alone in the organization. For example, currently, I'm alone in my department because all the projects which were employing the key staff have closed together with their staff. So I'm alone. I may not have someone reporting to me, but at least if you're not the CEO or the managing director, you must have someone reporting to you or people reporting to you. You must have people that you report to. Okay. Even, for example, the CEO also reports to the board. The CEO reports to the board. The directors report to the CEO. The managers report to the respective directors they have. The coordinators, officer, assistant, the coordinator of assistant. Okay, let me start like this. A volunteer, intern, they report to the assistant. Assistant reports to the officer. Officer reports to the coordinator. Coordinator reports to the manager. That is the reporting line. That is what we call the of a job description and the responsibilities. In the contract you're going to sign, attached to the contract must be the JD, okay, or the role description, okay? Because upon which achievements are you going to be evaluated, or what are you going to do? When you join an organization, they have not given you a job description. They have just told you you're going to do this, this, and this, that. With the word of mouth, that is already a red flag. Okay? There is no point for you to tell that you have worked. There is no point for them to verify the work you have done. And in so doing, they can actually chase you anytime because you don't have any binding agreement, okay, based on what you're supposed to do. I repeat this. If you join an organization, you don't have a job description, it is a very, very big red flag, okay? A very, very big red flag. We have the Raki matrix, the responsible, accountable, consulted, and informed, clarifies the roles and accountability. Very, very good. In organization, we hear people talking about my supervisor, my line manager, or my manager, or my team leader. Okay, it is all talking about the roles and accountability. Who is reporting to who? Who is responsible for whose achievements? Okay. Networking, building professional relationships to attract skilled personnel. Very good. Team building activities, enhance cohesion and collaboration. Performance appraisals, assesses productivity and then identify training needs. I want to let you know that most organizations, they use performance appraisal to pinpoint to all you at the group, which is not the case. Okay? Performance appraisal is to look at how productive you are, to look at in which areas do you need maximum attention, in which areas should you be trained. That is why for me, when I do performance appraisal, I document everything, okay? Based on discussion, based on the way I've been seeing this person's work, um, I recommend that this staff to be a highly performing staff should therefore attend training in the following areas: M&E, data analysis, okay? All those, all data quality audits. I make sure I recommend, and I also sometimes recommend to the organization to take you for a paid training, okay? That so and so needs a paid training by the organization. All of us in the department, we need this, and this is not going to help only the team leader, but everyone in the department. That's about performance appraisal. What are the challenges with the human resources management in project environment? High staff turnover or burn rate. Who knows about the high staff turnover? Who can explain that? Today I've talked a lot and people have not said anything. Who can explain the high staff turnover?
Okay.
Yes.
Turnover is the process of workers moving from one organization to another.
Okay. Julia, thank you so much. Maybe before you leave, is it good for staff to move from one organization to another or to leave one organization and join another? According to you, is it good or is it bad?
It's not good, sir.
Why?
Yeah. One of the reasons is let me talk about reputation of the organization. Okay. In most cases, when employees over quit a certain organization, the customers or clients may start having questions, okay, and having doubts in such organizations because some of the clients might be used to that particular handler, okay. So they will be worried of the new one that will come. Okay.
Okay. Thank you so much, Julius. Yes, Juliet. Then Alvin.
I wanted to add to what Julius was saying. However, I, for one, think it's good for staff to change organizations for purposes of growth. And also, when we look at issues of burnout, sometimes perhaps some organizations do not really look out for small challenges that some staff may face, and then you find they are literally, staff are always leaving, and which I would support, because organizations that do not support staff well-being, it's not good.
Thank you,
Yes.
Juliet, for the submission. Alvin, then Joanita and Joy. Joy Asimu has never spoken in our class. I think she would have even gone first. But Alvin, you can go.
Yes, thank you so much, sir. Just to add on about employee turnover. Well, I wouldn't say it's necessarily bad and necessarily good, but I think the distinction comes at the rate at which people live, because people are always going to grow, and when people grow, sometimes they want to step out into bigger roles, and maybe they can't get those bigger roles on that particular company or organization they're working with. But the rate brings out a different distinction, because if people are leaving every month, or if you're losing probably let's say three employees at the same post in a period of 3 months, it becomes weird, and then it highlights something that is happening at the company. Because when employees leave, they leave with customers, and then it puts a burden on the company to training needs. You have to train new people all the time. That's a lot for the company. So I think the rate at which it happens is what can become a challenge, but people always have to leave. You don't have to stay at a place for over 20 years and you're working at the same place. But the rate, if people are leaving so often, then there is something there. That's my submission.
Thank you. Thank you. Alvin, what is your background? What is your level training area or area of specialization?
Currently, I'm the maintenance manager at Protea Hotel, Ololo.
Very good. Okay,
Yes.
very good. I guess you have a number of people that work under you. Okay. Thank you so much. Yes, so let me hear from Joy, then Juanita, you'll wrap it up in that particular case. Joy Asimo, in case you're speaking, we can't hear you. And I think being the first time you're speaking in class, please be audible. Okay, so Joy Asimwe, I'm afraid and I'm sorry, we can't hear you, though your mic is on. Maybe I would request Juanita to go first, then you will come after Juanita.
Thank you, Doctor. Good afternoon, everyone. From my side, I think the high rate turnover is a bit hard on the side of the company, because when you look at the financial strain, at some point you look at the recruiting and the hiring, maybe the training replacements for the people that have left will be a bit expensive. The process is so expensive. And then sometimes the low productivity still affects the company, because if people leave, it means the company will not actually perform as it was performing when it had the people that have left. But then when we look at the part of the employees, sometimes the company underlooks the issues that are making people leave, because we look at maybe the low pay, or there is no room for growth, like one of our colleagues said, and sometimes even the culture, the work culture where we are living. Sometimes you'll find maybe your boss is toxic, or even the teammates are also toxic. So those are so many things that actually affect both hands. So we should look at both hands, and I think we should have a balanced position. And some of the employees that are left behind, it becomes something hard for them also. If they don't work on the environment they're living in, it means they will continue having the burnout. At the end of it all, still the company will be losing. And still, if someone wants to leave, they also have their reasons to leave. And there's career growth. That is actually some of the best thing that makes people leave. And the pay. Some companies don't have that part of increasing salary for someone who has stayed in a company, or even someone who is more productive. Yeah, that's it from my end. Thank you.
Thank you so much, colleagues. All of you have made very wonderful submissions, okay? I love the submission of Alvin. I love the submission of Juanita. The two of you have agreed or have consolidated the submissions of the first two people. Okay. Because Julia said, yes, living is not bad. I mean, living living is bad, but his point was more on the side of, the organization, the picture people get about the organization. But the second person brought in the aspect of it is good for someone to live because, you're going for bigger things, you're going for bigger roles. Very, very good. I love your submissions. You are weighing both, okay? On the side of the staff, it is very, very key, okay? Of course, it is self-explanatory. To a staff, you need to gain more skills. And, once you have gained the skills, time comes when you don't actually gain more skills. You go for money. You go for bigger things, bigger roles, bigger organizations, big money. Okay? That is on the side of the staff. However, on the side of the organization, you may want somebody who is skilled. You may want somebody who has a high level of experience, who have good customer care, and so on and so forth. But the staff turnover at some time, you may not control it. Okay. But again, I agree with what Calvin and what Juanita have said concerning the rate at which people do what? People live. However good you're paying people, however good you're paying people, but if 3 people leave one, not even 3, let me say 2 people leave one position, one job position in a year. The first person you hired left. In the middle or towards the end of the year, another person you have hired also leaves the organization. Okay? It means there's something. It means something needs to be done. Okay? So that rate at which people are quitting either one role or even quitting the organization needs to be addressed. Okay? If you have an M&E manager who leaves, then the ones you have hired, you have trained, you have put in a lot of resources, you have trained, the person is settling in, and now this person also leaves. You need to come back to the drawing board as management and look at why has this person left? What could be the issue? What feedback did the person give us? People leave. You know what the reason why people leave an organization? People leave when they're not being valued. People leave when they don't have motivation. People leave organizations for people. They run away from people they work with. Okay? People run away from supervisors. If you're a supervisor and so many people are living under you, ask yourself questions. What kind of supervisor I am? Okay? People live away. People live, actually, it is the biggest contributor of people leaving a workplace. Someone is working with you, they cannot breathe, they cannot eat. They come back home, they cannot perform in any other way. The level at which they have stress in their homes. Every time the prayer is directed to you. God, I pray for my supervisor. My supervisor, God, you know how to turn hearts of men and women. Please look at the heart of that man. That man has made the workplace so toxic. Please don't be an agent of that kind. The prayers that should go to you should be prayers of appreciation, prayers of, God helping you, promoting you more and more. Okay? I once worked in an organization called Restless Development. It is actually where I've worked the longest period of time, and I was based in Karamoja region in northeastern Uganda for 6 good years. Now, working in this organization, we had a position that was called the senior. Don't know if I'm forgetting, but we had a role that was called SPQ, Senior Programs Quality Manager. Very good. This was the role, Senior Programs Quality Manager. The time I joined the organization, there were 17 projects. Okay? There were 17 projects which were being implemented by different staff. However, this Senior Programs Quality Manager was in charge of all these 17, reporting, okay, addressing donor comments, and so on and so forth. Now, when I just joined, and they were paying good money in the organization. That's one thing that I would like, I would talk about. Sometimes paying you a lot of money does not mean that you're going to get, I mean, you're going to work in an organization for 20 years. Some of you have studied economics. There's what we call the backward bending curve for labor, okay? The backward bending curve for labor says a labor can be paid a lot of money. They get used to that money. They even know how to get that money now. They will no longer look at that money. They will start looking at what time do I wake up and go for the work? Okay? What other benefits do I have? Okay? How do people talk to me? You see that the backward bending curve for labor. Now, this particular role had just joined the organization. The person who was in the role we felt was one of the biggest, or the biggest after the CEO. The person left. The money is okay because at Restless, if you're an officer, you all earn the same amount. If you're a coordinator, you even know the money earned by each person. When they are advertising, they even put the money in the bracket. This role pays this amount of money because they use the global salary scale, the GSS. Okay, so you know that. So the role was paying a lot of money, around 13 million Ugandan shillings. Then, which was very, very good money. And now someone leaves, they promoted another person within. The person started performing very well. After 3 months, this one also resigned. They brought from outside. You know, NGOs, when they bring someone from, they're like banks. When a bank brings somebody from out, the way they, before the person joins, the 2 weeks to the person joining. So this person comes with 20 years of experience. This person has worked in experience, blah, blah. Sorry, it was a network issue. So I was telling you, before you know it, the third person also leaves. Now for us who were in the lower levels, we started fearing that role. Say, this role, I think is a kind of role they give for somebody. They all normally, we started tagging the name to that role. It is a role for leavers. Whoever wants to, the moment the company wants you to leave, they give you that particular role. So 4 people left within a very short period of less than 2 years. Now the organization came up to the drawing board and then they started saying, okay, now the senior programs quality manager, people have been leaving. We even got highly quality staff. We even paying them well. What could be the issue? It was the burnout or the workload. Okay. Imagine you're reporting, the month ends, you're reporting for 17 projects. You think it's easy? You also have to do other work apart from reporting. I have been reporting for 5 projects. If the quarter ends now, that is where the biggest stress comes in. As a parent, you cannot perform. As a father, you cannot perform. As, you cannot do any other work. You see that? So, as a human resource personnel, you need to always know how to manage the staff turnover. Once someone has left, don't take it for granted. This role people want to leave. Oh, people always leave. Don't take it for granted. Even when the staff you're supervising leaves, please come back to the drawing board and say, why has this person left? Okay? Sometimes they may not tell you why they have left, especially if you're a supervisor. They may not tell you why they have left, but you find they have told someone within the organization that I've left because of my supervisor. That man doesn't respect people. That man just speaks to people without any double thought. You see that? You need to put yourself in a position where people don't leave because of you. When I was leaving, restless development, I had UN volunteers. They were called monitoring and reporting officers. UN volunteers were always sent to me. I was based in Karamoja, then they gave me a transfer to Jinja, Eastern Uganda. So I was managing those regions in terms of M&E. As an assistant coordinator, I joined as an officer, became assistant coordinator. Now, UN volunteers were always sent to me to supervise them. Now, by then, I'd never gone through any other formal any other training apart from a certificate like this. But even by having that, I realized that it's good to work with people. It's good to impact people. It's good to let them learn. These people, when I announced my resignation, there were like around 4 people. At least 2 of them cried and they were like, wow, now this man is leaving after supporting us, after putting us all this, the man is leaving. I'd worked there for a longer time, for 6 times. I left Restless to join Educate Uganda as a full coordinator, not assistant coordinator. Okay. Now, people were like, sincerely, this person has now left. Shall we get somebody of this kind? Immediately when I left, therefore, they combined assistant coordinator role and the coordinator role. Then they had a manager role because I told them I needed a bigger role when I was leaving. And they listened. They said, okay, now this man, we can no longer bring him back. Let us get somebody and we give the person a manager role. Okay. The point is, leaving the organization is not bad. The high turnover, like Alvin and Juanita said, but the rate at which people are leaving is what brings in questions. If for you, you have people you're supervising, you cannot question yourself. Why are people living under me? Then people are asking themselves questions about you. How comes people who are supervised by so and so are really leaving? Okay? They are really leaving the organization. Okay? So you see, that really matters. Even within the JD, give some people jobs descriptions that they can be able to manage. Support them to do the work. Okay? Yeah. Cultural and language diversity, very important. Limited training resources. Some organizations don't invest in training their people. Okay? There's this question that we normally ask ourselves, that what if I train them and they leave? Okay? That is the question some organizations have, or some supervisors have. What if I take people for training, for example, this kind of course, I recommend a training for them, for my team, and then they leave. But there's also this kind of answer. What if you don't, this kind of question, what if you don't train them and they remain? Okay? Their level of skills will not improve. They will continue delivering the same way. Okay? Very, very important. Actually, when you go for a job interview, they ask you, do you have any question for us? Don't say no. Ask this question always. What training and learning opportunities are available for me in this role? Don't say no, there's no question, because that part carries a mark. Okay? At least you'll get 2 or even 5. Okay? For asking that question. Simply that. Don't start saying, how much are you paying? No, don't. Let the money let the money to come to you. When it comes, then decide whether you're joining the organization or not. Okay? Sometimes they even ask you, how much do you want to be paid for this role? It's not bad to say, currently, I'm decide. However, a range from this to this would be okay for me. That is having an effective kind of a response. Okay? So, if you're a supervisor, organize trainings for your people. You can be able, you may know someone who is avoid always training your people yourself. Not everyone have a good perception about you or on you. Always utilize outsiders to come and emphasize the different points, so that people can learn from, okay? Whether it's a paid training, whether it's somebody who is experienced and may not be paid, utilize the such people. Good. Okay. Good. Okay. Yeah. So always, have training opportunities for your people, allow them to learn new skills. Always have that question at the back that if I train them and they leave, what if I don't train them and they stay? How will they deliver if I don't train them but they're around? Balancing multiple project assignments. If you're a coordinator, if you're a manager, you need to balance. But again, overbalancing or having too much work can lead to the burn rate. Managing remote and cross-functional teams, okay? You know what it means by managing remote and cross-functional teams? For those of you who are in roles whereby you can work globally, please challenge yourself. Shoot the moon, okay? If you fail to shoot the moon, you might end up shooting the stars nearest to the what? To the moon. By this I'm meaning, apply for the global roles. Position yourself in such a way that you can deliver for assignments in Africa. You can deliver for assignments in Asia. You can deliver for assignments in Europe. For assignments in the USA. Okay. When I was working at Resilience Development as as the officer and then assistant coordinator, the organization had 10 hubs. It was operating in 10 countries: Nepal, India, USA. Not USA. In UK, in South Africa, in Sierra Leone. We also had in India. You see that, and there were opportunities where we needed to always challenge ourselves, come to agree to a certain document. We always have meetings. We always travel to those places and meet the team and work with them. Even if you're based in Uganda, your work shouldn't get affected. You have internet, you have the gadgets, the laptops, you have a phone, you have WhatsApp. Okay, your work shouldn't get affected. Okay, position yourself for such job opportunities. Okay, yeah. Currently, I work closely with the team in the DRC, and then we have some 2 staff who are based in the USA. We don't have to get affected even by the different time zones. Okay. Yeah, so that is it. There are solutions there: motivation and recognition, inclusive leadership, and then offer professional development. Integration between HR and procurement. We're not going to dwell so much on that, but both of them are equally important in the organization. Procurement brings services and then inputs the organization. HR brings the right people to the organization, and so on and so forth. I think we are ending with that. The other key aspects in human resource development, which you can always read and understand, things to do with the team development strategies. Okay. The team bonding. You always hear people talk about the team building. Very, very important. Okay. The effective leadership in human resources. I already talked about the aspects of line manager or supervisor, which is very, very key. How you can motivate your people, okay? Things to do with the conflict management and so on. We are not going to discuss them, but they are equally very, very important. You can expound on your... Mr. Abbott and Madam Shiba, please take note that I will share with you the resources about management skills improvement, things to do with emotional intelligence, things to do with the delegation, things to do with the time management. Time management is taught, by the way. They teach you time management at UTAM, okay? At the postgraduate or at master's level. Time management is very important. Motivation, delegation, effective leadership that we talked about. Very, very important. Yeah, so ladies and gentlemen, it has been a good day interacting with you on these 2 important aspects of procurement management in projects, in human resources management, in projects. Allow me to appreciate you for all your submissions. I don't know if there's any question at this particular moment, This is yet another area where people normally ask a lot of questions, but if in case there are no questions, I think we shall be able to stop here if there are no questions. But let me give you an opportunity. Is there any question? Anyone who has a question, so that can give you an opportunity. Okay? Okay. Yes, so for football lovers, today wraps up everything about football this season. We have the big match day. The Champions League final is happening in Budapest. Is Budapest in Romania? I don't know, but the Champions League final between PSG and Arsenal. I'm supporting PSG. Okay, please. We shall be, of course, support Manchester United. We shall be happy for the team that is going to win the Champions League. If PSG wins, they will take the second trophy consecutive. If Arsenal wins, they will take it for the first time since the world existed, since humanity existed, since for the first time since Arsenal started. You see, if Arsenal takes that. But any team that wins, we shall always applaud them and give them all the best. If Arsenal wins, please, so long as you support Arsenal, feel free to reach out to me and get your free jersey for supporting Arsenal. Okay? But for me, who is a Man U supporter, the same way like Diana has said, we have already taken the trophy more than once, more than twice, more than 3 times. What else do we need? Nothing much. So thank you so much, colleagues. I wish you all the best. Let's enjoy the match. Let's enjoy our Saturday. Tomorrow when we come, we shall start by saying, I remember telling you this. Arsenal, what took you there? Okay? Yes. So tomorrow when we start, we shall congratulate the team that wins. Okay? And tomorrow wraps up our discussion for project planning and management as a module for this. Then we shall set ourselves for the next one. Please, the resources that have been shared by Madam Shiba about finance, about budgeting, please keep them, download them and keep them. I'm also going to share the ones for the risk management, the risk registers. I haven't yet shared them. I wish you all the best, ladies and gentlemen. Have a good afternoon. Thank you for being good people. Joanita, you have something to say? Do you support Arsenal, Man U, or you support Aston Villa?
I don't even know anything about football, Mike. I just had a question.
Yes.
I can't understand football from my angle. I failed. So my question was, like you said, when a team member leaves, a supervisor should be worried about that. But then what if a member is leaving because maybe of the company, maybe policy, then what is affecting them, and they need maybe to get greener pastures? Sometimes it's not actually about the company, but when someone has actually looked out for greener pasture, is it also something bad or a supervisor to be worried about?
Wow, that's a good question. Alvin, you would be better placed to first respond to this, then we shall compare notes based on the response that I may also give. Alvin, did you hear the question well that you can respond to?
I request she repeats for me. I didn't get it clearly. I was trying to get out of the room.
So my question was, what if someone is a supervisor, but the team members are leaving because of the greener pastures, actually like better pastures? When one comes maybe to you and says, I got a place in some place that is even paying like maybe 3 times better, or a place that is more better, and it's not about the supervisor, but maybe according to the policies in the company or something different that is not connected to the supervisor. Should the supervisor be worried about that? Is it something bad as well? for the supervisor end, that maybe members are living for greener, better pastures?
Thank you so much, Joan. Well, about that, according to me, I wouldn't say the fault is with the supervisor or the supervisor needs to be worried because, like I said, staff are always going to leave. Staff are always going to leave. That is okay. But the issue would be at what rate are they leaving? So if if employees are leaving because of greener pastures, I think it will also go back to what level of supervisor are you? If you are at a level of, let me say, a supervisor but a manager, where a word or two to the management or to the HR department can alter something, maybe improve on the let's say the salary of that particular staff or your staff, or if your word can actually change something, because there's being a supervisor but your word is not going to be so heavy to make any difference. But if you are a supervisor that has influence, then you can actually get the blame to some extent, because it means you're not pushing enough, rooting for your people. You're not rooting enough for those opportunities they are going out for. Because why are they going? Is it training? The company is giving them training. Is it why they are leaving? Is it salary that is taking them? So if you have the power as a supervisor to say something and say maybe this particular employee needs a raise or something, then obviously a part of the blame can go to you. But if for whatever supervisory role you're on, you don't have that power, then really I don't think we can blame the supervisor for that, because at a certain point someone is always going to get something better and they will have to leave. For as long as it's not issues that are personal, respect maybe how you handle the staff, I really don't think a supervisor should be taking blame, unless otherwise they have the power to make changes to the policies around. That is my submission.
Thank you so much, Alvin. Nothing much to add on to that. You have responded very, very well. Thank you so much. Yes. Francis is saying, if you are a supervisor with an influence in any way, please first put your influence at work. Okay? Where it needs to go and talk to the HR and say, HR, this person is a very, very technical person. If we lose this person, we may not actually be able to get somebody to perform just like this person. Or the kind of work we do, client management. If we leave, we are going to lose a number of clients. Some clients will follow this particular person. Okay? In short, you first try to allow your influence to work. Do your best as a supervisor. Okay? You can even bring, feedback to this staff and say, so and so, we understand you're leaving because of the pay rise, wherever you're going to, or the little pay in our company. As a supervisor, I have tried to engage the responsible persons if this can really work out. But according to the considerations made, I think they cannot add beyond 100,000 on top of your current salary. Okay? Or you can say, based on the effort I've made, they cannot add anything at all. You see that? So what are you trying to create? To the staff or to the team member, you're trying to be considerate that you have actually tried your level best and nothing has worked out, or something has worked out little, or something has worked out at all. Okay? Something has worked out. When I was working with Educate, I announced my resignation because I was working as a coordinator. I got a job for a manager in Gulu with an organization called Psycho Connect. Now, I searched about this organization. It had not existed for so long. The impact was visible based on what I was seeing online. But also, I saw the organization, had not had any M&E person, so I was going to be the first. I was like, wow, I cannot leave this opportunity. Let me give it a shot. Now, Educate came back to me on a drawing board. They were like, Johnson, we understand you're leaving for a manager role. And the salary we know you're going for also a higher salary. What does that mean? HR told me, can we, how do you see if we add your salary, half of what you're getting now as your net, can we add it there? Do you think it's going to work out? And then you remain in the same position? Okay, I looked through, but then I was like, okay. Yeah, in fact, I add, a lot. The other company had already accepted their job. Here, I already announced my resignation. And now they have come back to me. But I looked at the growth the other side, and the other side had travels, okay? The other side had a lot of travels to the US, a lot of travels to South Africa. I thought of that and I was like, okay, sometimes when you travel, you save some good amount of money, or you learn a lot from the people that you meet in such particular areas. What do I need to do? Now I need to be bold enough to say no to any additional money now, but a yes to a bigger role and something that will allow me to take up bigger roles to challenge myself. You see that? So it's just the same thing that Alvin has responded to. If you are at the position of influence, you know this person is highly technical. Always value the technicality of somebody, value the human nature someone has, the respect someone has. Okay? The human nature has the respect, the way they talk to people, even people of lower levels, the way they take up people, the way they fit themselves in the shoes of others. That is the human nature. Always value those things. You get somebody who is always rude, who does not talk to people, who can help other people to aid the staff. You see that there are people of that kind. You find you're in a finance department. Someone in another department, IT, has an issue with the finance person. This one will help someone at IT to aid this one. You see those kind of things. They are killers of work. They don't motivate people. Okay. Yeah, so I think, Joanita, I think from what Alvin responded to, from his submission, I think you have picked up something, not so?
Yes, I have, though I was speaking this in the context like where I am, we have no say because I'm a supervisor somewhere and your word cannot mean anything. And we have a baseline, maybe say salaries like for everyone. So even if someone is leaving, because we've already shared this like in the town halls, we need a salary increment because we've been in a position for like 2-3 years, no increment. And then we are seeing most of the officers who are actually too productive. They're producing a lot of better results. So we try to push for at least some bonus, something. There is nothing. So sometimes you find like one of the best people becomes one of the poorest performers. Become like, you see like one person is actually living like, man, I'm tired. So there's at that point of you have pushed like in your meetings, you even talk and there's nothing, you have no influence. So at times you feel like someone will leave because maybe you're also imposing some pressure because of their poor performance. I remember there's also that part of your KPIs and they're telling you why is your team not performing, why isn't this person performing regardless of the tradings that you've made. So it's a lot of mix up and at some point someone will leave. That is why I was actually asking that.
Okay. Okay. Thank you so much, Joanita, for being very, very open. Yes. So also to still bring in the same response that Alvin told you, there are things you cannot really do much. There are certain things you can't do more. Okay. There are areas where you cannot do. If someone is leaving for salary and the company cannot increase salary, please, that one you cannot really do much. Or if the policy says this, you cannot do much. Even when you go to the HR will tell you the same thing. Unfortunately, we cannot do much where we are. The best thing to do is to allow the staff leave and have a smooth handover or a smooth exit. Okay? But still, even if people leave, how many? They are learning a lesson. They are learning. Okay? There are things you cannot do much. You can just be nice to them and advise them, to live well. Okay? Yeah. So that is that is what I can respond. Even as we have left jobs, okay? The job I left to join Ciota, it was actually I left for a lower salary, okay? Number one, it was because of the kind of people that I was working with. Number two, the organization was giving short-term contracts, okay? CEHAD, Center for Health, Human Rights and Development. They were giving 6-month contract. Every 6 months, they're giving you a contract. And in so doing, it became quite hard for me, who has been in organization for many years, to have that job security, okay? So I left the organization at the time they needed me most. I finished the first 6 months. The second 6 months, they were giving me a contract. I was already assured. I decided to leave to join Ciota, back to a manager role, because the other side I was working as an officer. But even when I was leaving, I told them they pay, because I knew they could not pay me the amount of money that I need. I told them they pay. The CEO told me point blank, Johnson, we value your skills. We value you being part of our staff. We value the work that you've been doing. Unfortunately, because of the pay, I think we cannot do anything at that particular level, because the donor gave us a project and the donor specified this staff must be paid this amount of money. We cannot do anything beyond that, even internally. We have no money to look for and give you. You see that? So, Joanita, at that point, it becomes you cannot do much, but you will be forced to leave that technical stuff, that experienced stuff. But you just be nice to them, say, okay, you know the policy of the organization very well. We cannot add anything here, or I cannot do anything to allow you continue. But please, we wish you all the best wherever you're going. But if you find you want to come back, please, I will always support you. I will always be in a support of you joining back the organization. You see that? But it's frustrating. It is very hard, especially to somebody who is a supervisor. Your technical staff has left. Now you have to start advertising. You have to start looking for somebody to replace that person. You have to train the person. Some people take 6 months in order to settle in. Okay. Others take 3 months, others 4 or 5, 6 in order to just settle. Others take a full year. They are still not clear in the kind of work that they do. I understand that. But these are the dilemmas in a workplace. And these are areas where now your skills in leadership has to come in order to balance the two. Okay. Those who are leaving should also note, even when you're leaving, you know the organization cannot give you more money. Don't start blaming your supervisor or anybody. Just know it's a policy. They cannot go beyond. Even me, the organization I work for now. Okay? There was a time I refused a job from an organization called Village Enterprise. They were giving me a manager role and they were paying me some money and they were promising me, man, there are a lot of things you learn in this organization. A lot of things you learn. I'm telling you, to be sincere, I don't think now I am, okay, I learn more, but I don't think I move in an organization for learning now. I go for delivery, get what is worth my level, okay? But if I'm getting frustrated, I can move for anything, okay? If I'm getting frustrated where I'm working. Yeah, it has been a long conversation. Alvin is saying Juanita is so frustrating. I totally understand this, especially when you lose the good ones on the team because the company won't revise the remuneration. Yes, some companies you get only salary and it's only salary. No per diem, no out of, no field allowances, no out of duty allowances. Even sometimes when you're moving to do some work, you move using your own money. There are organizations like that. But like I told you, please don't lose hope. If it is the only option available, continue working while you set your eyes open for better and bigger things. My HR normally tells you like this. My HR normally tells me, we joke a lot, and she tells me, so you man, so you're very comfortable. We joke. You're very comfortable here. I told you when you join an organization, start thinking about your exit also immediately. Join and think about your exit. You know, that's how teachers behave. A teacher gets a job in this school. That same teacher starts looking for areas where to part-time, the other schools to part-time. That same teacher starts looking for in which areas, in which organization, who are the people I should be coaching to get money. That's how teachers are. And when you chase a good teacher today, you're just wasting time. You're just giving them time to go and look for other bigger and better things. Okay? That's how teachers are. So living is not bad. Even when other people are living, even when you yourself you're living, it's not bad. But I really do understand, like the way Alvin said, when you're losing a good person and the organization cannot do something, it's really hard as well. So you will connect us to organization. Okay. Yes, so Julius, by the time we are going to be finishing this course, I think I would have known who has studied what, okay? And then we'll be supporting them in that particular line. But also, I think the leadership of the organization will speak to us. They will probably tell us what other packages do they always have, okay? It's not a crime. We shall you will we shall always see where you fit. And by the way, if you know you qualify for certain jobs or you want to apply for a certain job, okay? Please, it's not, you can reach out and we see how we can work through your CV, how you can go and try. The moment you see by God's grace, you have applied for 2, 3, 5, or 10 jobs and they start calling you for interviews. Those are very good signs, okay? Even if they have just called you for an interview and they have not given you a job, it's already a very good sign, okay? Uganda is, in the job market, Uganda is one of those countries which has highly technical people, highly qualified people. You see that? When they start calling you for an interview, it means that something is now cooking and working out, getting ready on your end. Okay? Yeah. So, ladies and gentlemen, I think now we can stop at this particular point. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for the submissions. This is the beauty of attending this course and then being able to make a contribution. I wish you all the best until tomorrow. For now, good time, good game day. All the best. Bye-bye. I will be ending the call for all, so enjoy your good time.